gubernatorial cycle, do you think Ed Fitzgerald's going to report anywhere near $4 million tomorrow? And if he reports substantially less, what should he be reporting tomorrow to be viable as a candidate for government?
Well, Henry, I don't know what John Kasich reported cash on hand total raised. I think you said total raised was $4 million and less than that cash on hand. I'm not sure what the number is.
So
I don't want to
speak. How much did Ed Fitzgerald show he's raised and have on hand tomorrow?
My point, and I won't interrupt you like John Kasich did, but let me say this. Whatever that number that Matt just spoke of with John Kasich in 2010, I don't know from a perspective of the Democratic Party what Ed Fitzgerald will file with tomorrow. I will tell you this. From a nuts and bolts perspective, the services that the party provides may be different. I can't speak for Matt, but I know over the course of the last few years since I've been chairman are much different than what the Republican Party provides directly and indirectly to their candidates. So we do the field work, for instance, of a candidate statewide, whereas the Republican Party tends to allow, they have in the past, I don't know if they will, to do that work internally with each campaign. Will we raise more than John Kasich? Absolutely not. Ed Fitzgerald does not golf, and he certainly doesn't golf with the CEO, Bob Evans. Ed Fitzgerald does not golf, and he certainly doesn't golf with Mark Kwame. Ed Fitzgerald does not golf, and he certainly does not golf with the CEOs of other well-heeled corporations that have received tens of millions of dollars from public wallets without any transparency to suggest that that investment is wise. And if the numbers provided by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, these aren't just numbers in thin air. And I saw Joe Schiavone this morning said, you know, I've got the report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics if you'd like to read them. It has nothing to do with scandal. I didn't mention scandal. You did. In fact, forgive me if I did, because I had not yet mentioned scandal. But I don't know what we'll raise, Henry. It won't be more than John Kasich. I can certainly tell you this. Now, if I may...
More than John Kasich 4 years ago, or more than John Kasich?
I don't know what it will be in terms of John Kasich now, and I don't know what it will be more than, and I know we won't raise more than John Kasich this cycle. I don't know what it will be compared to 4 years ago. I know that there are 30 people in the room who are interested in it. I know 1,000 steelworkers down at Ormat who won't be interested in it. I know 416,000 unemployed Ohioans who won't pay much attention to it either. I know that we're 45th.
But as you mentioned, you need money to articulate these very issues you're talking about right now.
And I know we're 45th in the country, and we're going to need the resources to get our message out, because John Kasich doesn't answer your questions. He literally does not answer your questions. When pressed about job performance, did you know that 50,000 of the jobs he mentioned, the private sector, when he defined private sector this morning, 50,000 of those jobs were created prior to the first budget John Kasich introduced. And that for the final few months of the prior governor's administration, the unemployment rate was going down. And as you know, the Federal Reserve indicated that what economic rebound Ohio saw in 2010 and 2011 was largely due in part to the auto rescue, something John Kasich opposed. So we'll peel away at the rhetoric, and we'll get at the facts, and we'll have the resources, to your question, Henry, to do just that. We were outspent with Josh Mandel. I think it was 3-1 when you looked at the corporate resources that went Josh's way, and we were still successful. The president was outspent in Ohio as well, and we were successful. We know we will be outspent by John Kasich. We know that much time and energy will be spent by some folks talking about such issues, and at the end of the day, we'll come down to how the economy is going and how John Kasich's response through Jobs Ohio and giveaways to the rich and the wealthiest among us have been in reaction to that economy.
If I could just get a follow-up to Matt.
He hasn't answered yet.
Chris suggested that the governor is looking beyond the state of Ohio and beyond reelection and looking toward Iowa and New Hampshire.